I grew up always loving art. Grew up in a pretty small town in Indiana that was pretty artsy and really had a lot of architecture. I remember playing underneath a Henry Moore sculpture in front of the public library when I was a kid. So just was always into it, and then wanted to learn how to work with a lot of different materials and ways of making. So I studied sculpture in college and then went on to get my master's in sculpture and installation. And yeah, now here I am. I still really enjoy working with a lot of different materials and experimenting with new ways of making things. The two pieces I have in this show, it's a series that grew out of other sculptures and installations I've done in the past using similar techniques, where I will sew a form out of fabric and starch it and inflate it within a scrap wood structure. And in this case, the wood structure is a rectangular frame. And so the 3D form gets sort of distorted and smushed within the frame and behind a pane of glass. And there's also a body of text that gets distorted in that process as well. I'm interested in how we make meaning as humans, both in art and everyday life. So we are social creatures. We want to connect with each other, and so much of our communication now is mediated by technology. And we also live in a time when truth itself is sometimes seen as malleable. And so I'm interested in exploring that function of communication. And one of the ways that I've found to be productive for exploring that is to sort of demonstrate moments when there is dysfunction. And so that distortion of the form as it gets smushed into the frame is interesting to me. And I think that it's a process-based way of making, and I don't have full control over what it looks like in the end. So it's always a fun part of the process for me is to just see what it looks like in the end.
The Distinguished Award for Abstract Art goes to Ryan Schwartzkopf.
For Death Shall Bring Waffles, that text comes from an online poem generator that I found. I liked the phrase Death Shall Bring Waffles that I received from one online poem generator, and I inputted it as a phrase into another, and it came out with this poem, and that is the text that's on the piece, and that's where the title comes from. The idea of a poem written by a computer is fascinating to me. Poetry already is sort of an example of distorted language in a way that you're taking regular language and extracting meaning from it in new ways. There's a playfulness and a sense of humor that is important to me in all of the things that I make, and I think that's definitely present here. And I don't take myself too seriously. I don't feel like it's my job to tell anyone what to think. I'm interested in asking questions, and meaning never goes away. It's always there, but it gets shifted in what I think are interesting ways.